I think the biggest storyline and perhaps the saddest storyline heading into the playoffs this year, especially in the East, is the breakup of the Big Four of the play-in tournament. Obviously, we've seen the Atlanta Hawks with their second half season surge into a playoff spot. The Chicago Bulls fully committing to a rebuild. So now the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets are kind of just battling it out to see who's the last one standing of that lone upper echelon of the play-in tournament. But in all seriousness, guys, it's Royce from BoxInOne, and today we're going to be breaking down every single play-in matchup. Obviously, I mentioned we've got a lot of old faces and a lot of newcomers into this play-in tournament, but without further ado, let's start it off with the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets. I think this is one of the most interesting matchups of the play-in tournament. We've got two teams on basically opposite ends of their team building. The Charlotte Hornets finally looking like that rebuild is paying off. You know, this franchise, this fan base has been waiting for years for them to actually be playing meaningful games, and they finally got that. Concaneppel, maybe the top rookie, depending who you ask, and LaMelo Ball alongside him leading the league in three-pointers made. Supporting cast has stepped up. Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, Moussa Diabate, all looking like they can contribute on any night. And this is, when they're hot, this is one of the most unstoppable and feared teams in the NBA. You know, they've had a tremendous second half surge, one of the better teams since the All-Star break, or really the last few months of the season, going on incredible winning streaks and finally putting the pieces back together and finally getting healthy. I think the main thing that what people are failing to recognize is that this team has finally been healthy, which is something they haven't really had for quite a while, at least in the LaMelo Ball era. And like LaMelo Ball said, that's the main thing. They're just on the floor together and they're having fun. So I think that's what's separating them this year, and they're finally able to host a playing game, you know, not having to be that number 10 seed. And on the other side of the spectrum, we have the Mr. 83 and the Miami Heat. This is a veteran team, a team with a lot of experience, players who have won championships, gone to the finals. Norman Powell, first-time All-Star this year. Bam Adebayo, probably going to make an all-defensive team. You can't forget Tyler Herro. Obviously, he's had a scoring dip this year. He has been battling injuries. That's all. They're also a team who's well-coached, and they're going to be a thorn in the side, and it's kind of like a headbutting of these two different play styles and these two different types of teams. But with that being said, I think I can't go against the Charlotte Hornets. I just want to see this team go forward. What's riding on it, them being at home, is just going to elevate them. I think LaMelo Ball is going to have a great game, and I don't really think the Heat will be able to fully contain them. I think the biggest disparity in this matchup isn't that the Philadelphia 76ers are a way better team when they're healthy and all their players are on. I think it's the fact that the Orlando Magic have given me nothing to say that they can come into high-pressure environments and scrape out wins. I'm a firm believer of Paolo Banchero. I have been since he's been drafted, but times this season he's shown as a lead guy, as a lead player who's supposed to be your supermax number one pick all-star. I don't think they can really lean on him to get these wins. And that's not to say that Paolo Banchero is going to be the end-all or be-all of this game, but I think if he's not on, and which he's been more times this season he's been off than on, I think Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and the rest of the 76ers cast are kind of going to smell blood in the water and just finish this game off. I don't see this being too much of a close game, and I think the Orlando Magic definitely have to look in the mirror following this play-in run and, you know, decide where they want to go and how they're going to actually elevate this team, because it seems they're kind of reaching their ceiling or definitely scraping it for sure. The first matchup in the West is the Portland Trailblazers traveling to Phoenix to take on the Suns in a season which both teams, I think, deserve a lot of credit. Definitely exceeded expectations. Denny Avdia turning into an all-star. Their cast looking very great, getting great minutes from guys who you wouldn't really think would. CD Sissoko, Caleb Love, Donovan Clingan, all these guys truly stepping up throughout the whole regular season. And on the other side, the Phoenix Suns, who departed from Kevin Durant during the summer. It was kind of iffy of where is this team going? What is the direction? And now only being a few games behind the team that Kevin Durant is currently on. But that's a discussion for another day. That's not what this video is about. But I think the Phoenix Suns deserve a ton of credit for what they've done, what Jordan Knott has done. I don't think he'll win Coach of the Year, but he deserves a tremendous amount of credit as a first-year head coach in the NBA. He deserves a ton of credit for elevating this team's ceiling. This game favors the Phoenix Suns more. I think they just have a bit more of a, being at home, I think this is just a game they're going to take. I just don't think the Portland Trailblazers have enough to keep up with this Suns team. And lastly, we have the battle of the oldies. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors go up against Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers. I believe this will be a close game. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry and Draymond Green and even Brook Lopez, these are guys who have been in the league for quite a while. They know how to win in bigger games than this. This will be one of the most exciting playing games. Steph Curry is very eager. You could tell him watching on the bench that he was eager to get back. Kawhi Leonard returning to first team All-NBA form. Newcomers, Darius Garland, Bending Mathurin. This is a very, very scary team when they're on. And on the Warriors side, this is a team that's going to have to bank on Steph Curry. He's still a player when he catches fire. When he's in that zone, he can lead a team to practically anywhere. But with that being said, I think the Warriors don't have enough depth, nor do they have the skill to keep up. And not to mention, it's at the Intuit Dome. I've been to the Intuit Dome. I've seen how they feed off that energy. It's one of the best arenas in the world, I would say. I think Kawhi Leonard realizes that this is kind of a last hurrah, a last-ditch effort, And this team, who was started 6-21, are in the play-in tournament, which is something no one could have predicted, and I don't think the Clippers are ready to give up. And on the Warriors side, I think they would be fine with losing this game. Losing Moody, losing Jimmy, Porzingis not being fully healthy, a lot of these G Leaguer, secondary, 10th, 11th men have had to step up. I think the Warriors are fine with this being a gap year per se, and they kind of come in next season all chips ready. But with that being said, those are our predictions for the 2026 playing games. And as always, follow us on all social medias, TikTok, X, Instagram, wherever you get your hoops content, we're there. With that being said, I'm Rois, signing off from BoxInOne.